Namaste. Happy evening to one and all. This evening, 31st July 2021. What a good day and good evening to start such an important topic discussion: feminist teaching, research in higher education, theory and practice. Given by Ramanujam College, Delhi University on refresher course. Such an important theme to deliberate this evening, 31st July 2021. I, Professor Abha Singh, keen and curious researcher and learner, is happy to interact today with you all on this important theme with the topic which I thought is pertinent to discuss and understand and find solution within ourselves. Role of feminism in balancing masculine and feminine energies for empowered society. But before we start, I request those who are listening to me to just close your eyes and start with prayer for humanity. You can do with me while you listen to this talk. Almighty, shower divine blessings upon each one of us, family, friends, society, and bless Mother Earth and humanity with equality, balance, peace, love, happiness, harmony, for progress and universal prosperity. God bless us all. Let's introspect. Let's reflect as a human where we are right now. With a lot of development of technology, increase in material concerns, clamor and hustle, contemporary humanity has been cut off, if you ask me, from the vastness of the universe, from the eternal flow of time which we are in today, and where we are moving today, and what we are visualizing today for humanity, sustainability, and the universe is in danger, and humanity is scared. We struggle against the feelings of isolation and alienation. We seek to slake the heart's thirst by pursuing pleasures, only to find that our cravings have grown so much fiercer, if you ask me. So this separation of estrangement, in my view, the underlying tragedy of contemporary civilization, divorce from the cosmos, from nature, from society, from one another. We have become fractured and fragmented selves. Science and technology, if you ask me, have given humanity undreamt power. Today, it's the power of technology that we are talking during this pandemic time. So undreamt power, we never dreamt like this will happen. Bearing invaluable benefits to our lives. and giving a lot of valuable aids to us, to humans. But this has been accompanied by the tendency to distance ourselves from life. Unknowingly, it has happened, if you ask me. By the tendency to distance yourself from yourself and find yourself in what way, where we are. That's the question I'm raising today in my talk. And I would like all my colleagues, I have reverence for you all as an academic fraternity because you are building future in the classrooms. So it is clarion call for us as academic committee to rise awake and see what is happening in and around and with the science and technology development, which I was talking about. So we are accompanied with the tendency to distance ourselves, as I was talking to you, from life, to objectify, to reduce everything around us in numbers and things. But we are humans. Even people have become things today, you know. We are in number. We are victims, are presented like a statistics, COVID statistics, any disease statistics. So we have become a part of numbers, you know. We are numb to unspeakable suffering and grief of individuals. The human eyes need to discover, if you ask me, in each person a unique, irreplaceable humanity. We all have that spirit within us. While arrogant intellect seeks to control and manipulate the world, the human spirit bows with reference before its mysteries and discoveries of human life and the universe. Human beings are each microcosm, if you ask me. We are microcosm, minuscule part of this universe. Here on Earth, we live in rhythm with the universe that extends infinitely above us. There's something infinite within us and above us and around us. When resonant harmonies arise between this vast outer cosmos and inner human cosmos, then this humanity, the spirit of humanity is born, if you ask me. At the time, perhaps all people were spiritual beings, but we have forgot that connection. We have become human beings. So let us remind ourselves today from this talk and discussion and deliberation that we all are spiritual beings trying to be human beings. So that's why I have brought the quote of Mahatma Gandhi to remind ourselves as human beings, our greatness lies not so much in being able to remake the world, that is the myth of atomic age, as in being able to remake ourselves. So how would we remake ourselves? We have a lot of spiritual powers as a spiritual being if we understand the connection of soul, body, mind. The connection through yoga, connection through yogic philosophy, we'll get the answer what I'm trying to say on this talk of balancing masculine and feminine energy and how we can rebuild ourselves and remake ourselves. But for that, we have to awaken ourselves. We have to introspect, reflect, and be aware. So I have given the background of this topic, how we need to look at as a human being and how this humanity is the only religion of spirituality and how we can take from this science of spirituality. And also, I would like to urge the scientists, scholars, researchers, teachers, academic fraternity, those who have spiritual mind, they have to come forward to connect science and spirituality. That's where the gap is. There are many forums they have initiated in one nook or corner, but there needs to be an integrated, holistic approach to find solutions. So, part A, I'm just trying to help you to reflect and be aware as a humans what we have in ourselves as a personality. As a psychologist and behavioral scientist, I've been teaching more than 2 decades, and I am a personality professor, emotional intelligence professor. I keep on telling we have a personality. Do we know that? Inner self. Self is bigger than a personality. Self is core of the personality, and self is the core of humanity, if you ask me. In our tradition, in our Indian mythology, we say, Aham Brahmasmi, I am part of universe. So how do we connect that self within self? It's a saying that all men and women, they have both masculine and feminine within their personality. It's not the saying of Susan, which I'm talking right now, that most beautiful in virile men is something feminine. What is most beautiful in feminine women is something masculine. Even Carl Jung, he talked about the concept of anima animus. Anima is a masculine, feminine quality in male, and animus is a masculine quality in female. Yin and yang. Again, I think we have these concepts which talks scientifically that we have men and women both in a human. We are part of and combination of both. I will give you a evidence also on that to test yourself how you can understand that masculine and feminine energy within yourself. We all are a bundle of energy. And energy is derived from thought. Our thought is equal to energy. And yoga philosophy gives a very, very sound understanding that male energy is known as Shiva and female energy is Shakti. Male energy is symbolized by sun and feminine by the moon. So Ida and Pingala Nadi, which we know, sun and moon. These complementary channels on either side of the body are known as nadis, Ingla and Pingla, which I told you. The word meaning a stream that flows the back of a spinal cord, and which is Sushumna Nadi, the center of your body, the spinal cord, where all chakras are placed. And this is how it is explained in yoga philosophy, and through which prana, the life force, circulates. Now, this is the force, life force, which is the energy which I am talking. You must be thinking how it is masculine and feminine. I would like to give you a little bit background here. In our culture, in our tradition, we worship all divine goddess Shakti, which are female in nature and which is depicted female character mostly. I'm not here to convey the message that one is dominant over other. Please don't take me in that perspective. I'm trying to give you the understanding what the cultural context conveys and how we need to understand. So, this divine energy is mostly Shakti, which is symbolized as a feminine energy. We worship in our culture. But what is happening to women folk, women community, we all know it. I don't have to tell you. We worship outside, inside home, outside, I think, in pandals and the place of worship. But the actual worship which we need to do for a human, for each other, whether male or female, we are not doing that. We are not showing that respect for each other. So actually, there is the problem where energy gets imbalanced. You get arrogant, you get feeling of jealousy, hatred, creating imbalance in your body. You must have seen yourself when you say something in peace and when you say something in stress, anxiety. You must have observed your body behaving within yourself and outside with others. Whole physiology changes with the psychology of a person. If somebody is saying something, our conversation, the language which we use to communicate to each other and connect with each other. Is that communication with care, which is known as communicare? Are we using this communicare within that relationship? So that's where the problem lies. So we need to understand that this Shakti is within all of us, whether male or female. And this energy need to be understood by us. Right now I'm talking to you all and you observe yourself, you are flowing with that energy, sometimes masculine, sometimes feminine. And today we all teach breathing exercise, pranayam, and many techniques of brain exercises, brain gyms, to help you to balance your left and right brain. And that's what is balance. So if you are guided more by right side, left side, it is creating imbalance. Today, neuroscience indicated, and I discussed with you in my previous lecture of neurofeminism, that neuroscience is indicating our whole brain is working. But we have to balance. If we are one side dominant as per our habits, as per our lifestyle, as per our personality, our style, a way of connecting within us and with others, we need to understand how we use that energy during the whole day. So what I'm making a point here, that you are flowing with the energy, sometimes masculine, sometimes feminine. How to check that? When you are becoming more dominant, when you are becoming more aggressive, it is masculine, which we all have as a female also. I can also have that quality. And when I am more nurturing, caring, loving, appreciating, male can also be like that. It's not that only female has a right over these traits and characters and qualities. No. Let me tell you, we all have both the qualities, but degree may vary. I have to be conscious which one is more dominant in my personality so that I'm able to balance myself. So this life force is not disturbed. That's why balancing is very important from the energy point of view to help your physiology to prevent you from disease. Not only balancing the energy, but also prevent you from disease. That's important point to note. Moving further, today, here I'm not discussing on feminism to fight for the right and they are oppressed, suppressed. No. Here is that feminism includes both the side of a personality, that is feminine and masculine both. Today, in our culture, in Indian culture, we are a collective society. We give importance to family. We have bonding with our family. But where is the bonding within ourselves? Do you bond with yourself? Self-love is the core of humanism, let me tell you. And that is where we have been divided. And that's why this collective force is rising up on earth today. Energy of the reborn feminine. And that's why feminism has to take action. And I urge all women folk to be awakened more and help other part and counterpart and spouse and other member of the society and their son and daughter to arise and think on that platform where and how we are using ourselves and how we are feeling respected, feeling free, independent to do what we want to do in our life. Or it is an unseen, unknown boundary which binds women more than men for taking any decisions in their life. So that's where that imbalance has come. Problems can be talked, problems can be discussed, and solutions can be found. But not with arrogance and egoism, which has an imbalance already in our personality indicated by our behavior. So that's what I want to make a point. So this is the time of monumental shift happening in the universe, in the environment, where the male dominance of human consciousness back to be balanced relationship into masculine and feminine. Again, it's not comparing any gender better or worse. It is balancing within a personality of masculine and feminine energy. And if we as women folk are responsible enough to take the challenge and help others, we should go ahead. That's what I would convey from this talk of how role of feminism is so important and pertinent in today's time. Despite the gender we identify, that's what I was talking about, we actually have both men and women inside us. And how do we find that? How do we connect with that? So that's how we fail to acknowledge the vast energetic system, and we feel chronically out of balance, and we see a lot of disease, personality in our family, in our society. Besides working in our physical health through conscious eating, fitness, it's equally important for all of us to pay attention to our subtle energies if we desire to live a healthy life. Sometimes we get message we ignore. You don't like something. Somebody has given you a message which is very hurting. Your emotion has been, I think, fragmented, fractured, but you're not able to speak. Why? Everybody has right to live with dignity, let me tell you. So when your emotion is subtle energy, which we say that when you have a thought, you see something, you feel something, that's energy which you are transmitting in your body. Every cell of your body is getting influenced by that thought and that emotion which you are carrying at that moment or this moment as well. It has to be seen what I am carrying, why I am carrying that energy. Thought has that attraction. Thought has that magnetic power. Suppose we are 300 people listening to this lecture and talk, and if we have that thought of positivity for ourselves and for others, something great will happen. Something good will happen to all of us, And for the society, we are talking of environment sustainability. This is the way we can bring sustainability. Unless and until we talk about this self, which is not in balance within self, we can't bring sustainability outside. We are talking of environmental sustainability. Who is going to bring that environmental sustainability? We humans. For that, we have to first help ourselves to be in balance within ourselves and then create that balance and harmony outside, in the environment, in the society, in the university, in the culture, society, nation, world. That's how it will go. So, whatever I think, regardless of gender, each of us contain, which I was explaining, masculine and feminine energy. We need to respect that, we need to balance that, and we all know that the trait which we know as feminine and masculine, I don't have to explain, you already know it, that more I think we talk of logic, planning, structure, it falls under masculine, boldness, courage, all this, but I don't think that women do not have those qualities. So that's what old age traditional way which we have been dividing these two genders. Time has come, let's unite. Let's unite and let's be humans first. Great philosopher said, we are born humans and society divides us by giving the gender roles. So the time has come, let's unite. Let's feel that feeling of oneness within us and with others. That's how we can help each other to grow and progress. So uneven relationship exists between duality of feminine and masculine. I was explaining that too much of feminine energy and too much of masculine energy is not healthy for any personality, any human, any individual. So you have to see where you are going wrong. If you're too much of action oriented, too much of planning, executing, you have to take rest as well. You have to relax. You have to nurture your family also. So you need to see where is your fulcrum, in the balance spectrum. And if you are falling which place of that fulcrum and the spectrum, you need to assess yourself. I have an instrument which is scientific to help you assess the masculine energy and feminine energy. Moving further, there are, I think, division of the energy which is explained in many texts, in many models. You can see for yourself. It's just for your understanding when we talk of empowered energy, because if you are in balance, you empower yourself and you empower others. You must have seen when you are happy, you are healthy, you talk sense, you talk something to resolve conflict all the time. So that's what I am trying to convey, that we have that energy in abundance. If we are empowered with that energy, we can do a lot of good things for ourselves and for society. And as academicians and academic community, we have more responsibilities towards society, students, parents, and many more stakeholders. We all know it. So it is your energy, the life force within you, which helps you. And in our tradition, which we talk, and it is commented as pranayam kosha, is the energetic layer of your being. It is beneath the physical body, first layer of consciousness. We only know our physical body, which we can see, but there's a subtle energy which is behind that we don't see. That second layer of experience consists of the elements that cannot be seen with the naked eye. Breath and prana are part of this layer. So this energy manifests as emotions and disease in the body. Energy also manifests as an aura, your vibe or feeling, which you pick up when you walk into a room. So it is energy which communicates first before you meet anybody. And we must have experience in our lives. In some places when you go, you feel very good. Some places when you go, you don't feel good. And why we feel so happy, positive when we go to worship place, whatever religion we go, in a temple, church, and Gurudwara, whatever I think religion you follow, you see there is always a positive or vibes emanating from that environment. Though there's a lot of rush, lot of crowd, still, what is that? It's just your thought process, my dear fellow colleagues. It's thought process. Thought is positive. You all have come to pray there, and you are thinking of positivity and good and well-being for self and others. Similarly, when personality of those kind you meet, you feel good. So what is that? That's energy we can't see. That's now there are, I think, a lot of camera. I think machines which are using to study that energy, and measure that energy as well. A lot of researchers are indicating the evidence are there. In West already they have started energy medicine, and we as an Indians, it comes from yoga philosophy. So this energy is already within all of us. It's up to us. How do we start practicing and using that energy very judiciously, honestly, taking that indicators from that and the cues from that energy and help ourselves. That's what I can see. So this is within us. Right now I'm talking to you, there is an energy which is helping me to connect with you all. And that energy, the thought which I carried in the morning with all my work, that today is something which I need to share my experience and knowledge with you all and give another dimension and perspective in your personality to help yourself and help others and help many, being in the profession of teaching and academics. So your energy vibes comes naturally within you. That's what I am trying to make a point. And through your environment, experiences, and people around you. That's what I was trying to convey. Idea of what it means to be masculine and feminine are examples of that outside influence of your energy. So it is how you understand that masculine and feminine energy is an influence of that on your energy which you experience. If somebody is sitting in front of me, how that person is feeling conveys about this energy, masculine and feminine. So it is how I create my thought process, my belief system, and my habits. And finally, it is emanated in your behavior. That's what is your energy. So when it is imbalanced, we all know the aggressive, selfish, ruthless, brutal. I think they're all negative qualities which we keep on saying. So my point from here to take on for humanity is why we have become so negative. I'm not saying there are no positive people, please don't take me wrong. But more negativity is there. We have to create this positivity within ourselves with simple way and techniques which I'll talk in part B and help you understand that this is possible. This is in our hand, how we can do that. Even for our children, for our kids, are we giving that kind of energy to help the child prosper and grow and express those energy in a very healthy manner? That's what we need to understand and learn, even for our students. So healthy masculine creates safety, old space. So you can see healthy feminine, vulnerable. You become vulnerable. You need to understand why I'm becoming. You have an answer to that question. Vulnerability is also important to express so that you can solve the problem. You have not to hide. But there are ways. You can't shout and show violence. It is an emotional which has to be expressed. Surrender. You have to surrender to the problem, and then take a charge of it, that yeah, I will solve. I will solve. And how it can, with the energy medicine which people talk about, you have to flow with it. Maybe that moment you are unable to solve that problem. So you park that problem there and you flow with it, and maybe you get more solution and more good ideas to solve that problem which you have not been able to solve it. So I think that we need to understand how this unhealthy feminine and unhealthy masculine need to be understood. And if you see, this is very obvious. We all behave like that. We practice this kind of behavior, insecurity, competitive. Today, we are all competitive. And let me tell you, I was reading this is a term which is very healthy term. Competition is a very healthy term. But how do we present into the corporate sector, corporate world among students that competition is unhealthy? So how do we present this? Competitiveness is so unhealthy. What is healthy competition? How we can create this kind of message for our children, our students? We can have that healthy competition basing on our strength, our potential, our attributes, our attitude, our aptitude is different from others. So you have to see those strengths and then align with that profession, with that job which you are trying to seek. So this we need to understand and help people that how healthy masculine and healthy feminine can be nurtured in our personality, and it can help us to become more balanced and more pleasant and positive in our day-to-day life, and handle the challenges in a more challenging way rather threatening way. I'm reminded by few good quotes by Swami Vivekananda in the context of balance of masculinity and femininity. And he rightly mentioned there is no chance of welfare of the world unless the condition of women is improved. It's not possible for a bird to fly on one wing. According to his philosophy, men and women are wing like a wing of a bird. Bird can only fly if its wing is balanced. If it is fractured, fragmented, bird cannot fly. So we need to see the status of women, and that's why I am urging women folk to be awake and arise and see what they can do for themselves and for others. We can't just let people only say that women are oppressed, suppressed. They can take a call for action for themselves and have a clear message for their daughters that how they can manage themselves and manage family, other members. And similarly, the other members, male and men, can also support that kind of endeavor by supporting that person's main strength which he or she has. The strength of his or her masculine and feminine energy, which is imbalanced. How do you find that balance between both the energy? How do you create that balance? That's very important to understand. So I think Swami Vivekananda also quoted, it's very difficult to understand why in this country so much difference is made between men and women. Whereas Vedanta declares that one and the same conscious self is present in all beings. That's what I was talking, that self has no gender. Self is conscious, self is soul. Why we are dividing it into male and female? It has that energy which has to be understood, the soul consciousness. And we have quote from Swami Vivekananda which really help us to give the vision next generation how and shape the world which we are going to live in. So everybody has to work together, and it's not that only we have to fight for the right and show the might. No, it is more to understand those differences and try to come together and feel one with each other. That's the point. How do we do that?